You tapping in real quick. Something light, nothing major. Peace and blessings and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing too crazy about this video right here. We just gonna sit here and chop it up for a few minutes for what it's worth. While I had these money lines up in front of me, we can talk about some parlay options, something light, nothing major, nothing too crazy. Just, while I roll this motherfucker up, fire it up and burn it down if that's as long as it takes. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go ahead and dive into it, man. They just locked up one of these closely lined fights for whatever reason, man. Chris versus John, Gutierrez versus Castaneda just got locked up for whatever dumb fucking reason. And it better have nothing to do with a cancellation. You know what I'm talking about? I don't need none of that nut shit right now. Let's talk about the rest of them though. Let's talk about some of these closely lined fights. You know what I'm talking about? That's where that good money's gonna come from. Stay away from this first fight of the night for right now. Let's stay away from Ozzy and motherfucking Jordan. Chris and John are locked up. Let's stay away from Marion and Francis. Alex and Los is at a crazy number. Let's start off with Armin and Bruno. Now, Armin, obviously, the cleaner, crisper, more technical practitioner on the feet in the striking department. Solid, well-rounded, defensively sound enough in the wrestling and grappling department to keep this fight upright, in my personal opinion. It is what it is. If you feel the same, obviously, Bruno's gonna need a finish via KO, TKO, inside the distance, possibly via submission from getting this fight down to the ground and putting Armin in a compromisable position, or from a club and sub type of situation. Either way you look at it, in my personal opinion, Bruno cannot win this fight via decision. He needs to win it inside the distance via finding a finish in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So with that being said, Armin at minus 143, he is the cleaner, crisper, more technical practitioner who is, in my personal opinion, defensively sound enough in the wrestling and grappling department to keep this fight upright. If you're anything like me, you already have dog plays on Bruno. We're in the doghouse. I try to find dogs that have the potential to bark and pop the fuck off. And more times than not, I rock with them. I rock with Bruno, but I'm properly preparing for being on the wrong side of that pick. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, as far as all of this is concerned, Armin Petrosian is it for all the reasons that I stated at minus 143. Only reason I don't want to lock up and say Armin Petrosian is it, and go in the method section and say via decision, because, it's very possible that Armin catches clips and disconnects Bruno from his consciousness while Bruno is down 1 round to nothing, 2 rounds to nothing, going into the 3rd round, needing to finish, and aggressively and recklessly searches for that finish and gets himself finished in his own right. So just Armin money line, minus 143. Moving on. Josh and Rye. Josh is minus 175 right now. It's a Rise plus 138. The same can be said. Did they open Chris and them back up yet? They took Chris and John off. The fight is gone. It's off the whole app anyway. Stop the madness. But they just took motherfucking Chris Gutierrez and John Castaneda smooth off. I just went to scroll back up to see if they possibly unlocked it, and they took it smooth the fuck off. Away. It's gone. Damn. Well, that's that with that. You know what I mean? I was going to say the same can be said in all 3 of these fights about all 3 of these individuals, Joshua Van, Armin Petrosian, and Chris Gutierrez. All 3 of them needed to keep the fight upright, which they are defensively sound enough to do in the wrestling and grappling departments to produce the better body of work over the course of 15 minutes in the striking departments and possibly find a finish inside the distance along the way if it presents itself. But the Chris and John fight is gone. So that only applies to Armin Petrosian and Joshua Van as of right now. And if you feel the same way about Joshua Van as Armin Petrosian, as far as, he's defensively sound enough in the wrestling and grappling department to keep this fight upright, to produce the better body of work over the course of 15 minutes, for a unanimous decision, possibly find a finish inside the distance if it presents itself, then that minus 175 should be very appealing to you as well. And that minus 143 and minus 175 comes together at plus 169 so far. Leaving Curtis Blades alone because it's a heavyweight fight and it's a minus 360, 270 money line. Leaving King and Mauricio alone because of the money line. Leaving the women alone. Now we have Ignacio and Jalen Turner. I think Ignacio Bahamondos, in my personal opinion, outside of getting motherfucking himself entangled on the ground with Jalen Turner, which I don't see him finding himself on the ground with Jalen Turner. You understand what I'm saying to you? He wins this one via unanimous decision. He possibly finds the finish inside the distance from catching, clipping, and disconnecting Jalen from his consciousness at minus 122. Those three legs come together at plus 389. I do believe at some point in time, Jalen's going to want to get this fight down to the ground, and it's not going to work out for him. You understand what I'm saying to you? I think Ignacio is defensively sound enough to keep this fight upright and produce the better body of work over the course of 15 minutes. We will skip Rafael and Justin for just a minute and go to the main event, only because I like the dog in that fight, and if you want to do a swap out, we'll talk about that in a second. But Alex is minus 127. And the same can be said. I believe Alex is defensively sound enough in the wrestling and grappling department after all the years that he has put in with Glover now. It's been a few years now that he's been putting heavy work in with Glover in that department. You understand what I'm saying to you? That I think he's going to surprise individuals tonight when Magomed attempts to take the fight down to the ground. Those four legs right there, those four closely lined fights at minus 143, minus 175, minus 122, and minus 127 for Armin Petrosian, Joshua Van, Ignacio Bahamondos, and Alex Pereira come together at plus 775. You know what I'm talking about? Let me let Rocky in real quick, because that's who's scratching at that motherfucking door. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, kid. Now, them four legs right there, that's 775. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if you're anything like me, you like Justin Gaethje to be the one to get it done in the second go-around, and that's 5 legs at plus 1851. If you want to swap that out for Rafael, understandably so, that's 5 legs at plus 1344. If you don't want the stress of that fight, but you're all right with Alex, Ignacio, Joshua, and Armin, for all the reasons we just spoke about, that's 4 legs at plus 775, man. Drop something light on it. Drop something major on it. Do what you want with it. It is what it is. Now, rocking with those same individuals and including these others, staying away from the women. Mauricio, with all due respect to Bobby, he's faster, he's nastier, he's craftier, he's an OG, he's a veteran. And if he had a better chin, it'd be him all day long. All day, every day, even on Sunday when I'm cashing that ticket with that plus 350 in it. You know what I'm talking about? It would be King Green. But if King Green gets caught with some of these shots, if any of these shots that James got caught with, the night's going to be over, in my personal opinion. So we'll put Huffy in there. 5 legs at plus 959. All favorites. Justin's out of the mix. It's just Armin, Joshua, Mauricio, Ignacio, and Alex as of right now. And that's 5 legs at plus 959. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now, coming on up here and fucking with Carlos, big old favorite. But what point is what is this, a minus 770 going to do for you unless he's like your 6th or 7th leg? You know what I'm talking about? So let's slide past him and go to this minus 278, Marion Santos. That's going to put us at plus 1340 for 6 legs. All 6 favorites: Armin Petrosian, Joshua Van, Mauricio Huffy, Ignacio Baja Mundos, Alex Piera, and mother, lost myself for a minute. And Marion Santos, I was great. Read off another name, but I ain't hit him yet. Now, we'll add the minus 770 as our 7th leg, and that'll take our plus 1340 to a plus 1527. Now he's doing something for us. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now we have 7 legs at plus 1527. And that's Marion Santos, Carlos Lil, Armin Petrosian, Joshua Van, Mauricio Huffy, Ignacio Baja Mundos, and Alex Piera. Now we're going to go ahead and add this 8th leg. And, you know, is it Jordan Santos or is it Curtis Blades? Is it Jordan Santos or is it Curtis Blades? Is it Jordan Santos or is it Curtis Blades, man? Boy, oh boy. Let's go Curtis Blades, man. Now we have 8 legs at plus 1983. That's the year after I was born. I'm an 82 baby. You know what I'm talking about? 1983. 8 legs at 1983. I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. That's Marion, Los, Armin, Josh, Kurt, Mauricio, Ignacio, and Alex. We're going to see if we can't put this motherfucker together. You know what I'm talking about? See if we can't put this motherfucker together, man. It's this first fight of the night. It's this women's fight. And it's Justin and Hop. What we going to do? What we going to do to properly? Now what we going to do how we want this motherfucker to go? What we going to do to properly place this motherfucker so it smacks? What we going to do? Now it's 8 legs at plus 1960. That's just going to keep on going down. You know what I'm talking about? Pew, pew. What if Ozzy Diaz and Justin Gaethje are the only 2 dogs to bark on this card? That's 11 legs at plus 19,961. $11 will probably get you 2 stacks. Yep, 2,200. Well, 2,195 plus your $11 back, so 2,206 type shit. It's going in. Consider it in the degenerate vault. You know what I'm talking about? Then you can swap out Ozzy for motherfucking Jordan. And it comes to plus 11,474. Put Jordan in there. That's saying Justin's the only dog that's going to bark. Or you could take Justin out and put Hafel in there. No dogs barking. That's all favorites. After them face-offs, I ain't going to hold you, man. I kind of like Ozzy. I kind of like Ozzy Diaz, man. Justin Gaethje. I love Alex and Ignacio. That lady fight scares me. Mauricio, Curtis, Josh, Armin, Los, Marion, Ozzy. Like if we going off post, you know, ceremonial weigh-in, face-off type situation, give me Ozzy Diaz at plus 160. Give me Marion Santos at minus 278. Carlos Lil at minus 770. Armin Petrosian at minus 143. Joshua Van at minus 175. Curtis Blades at minus 360. Mauricio Ruffy at minus 480. Ignacio Bahamondos at minus 122. Justin Gaethje at plus 123. Alex Pierre at minus 130. And boy, oh boy, fuck it, give me Yasmin Lucinda at minus 148, man. Yeah, 11 legs, 9 favorites and 2 dogs, man. Type shit. That's how I like that to go. After what I saw at the weigh-ins and the face-offs and the vibes and everything that I was feeling, I already had other shit in, but this is what I like after that. So, to be determined. If you feel the same way, you feel like it's worth a sprinkle, man, it comes together at plus 19,961, man. Put 10 hours on that motherfucker and you get 1,900 back. You know what I'm talking about? $11 on it, $1 a leg, and you getting 2,200 back. You know what I'm talking about? So you ain't gotta go crazy. I'm not gonna go crazy. This is a post weigh-in, post ceremonial weigh-in, face-off type situation. How I was feeling when I watched it, looked in everybody's eyes, looked in was feeling everybody's vibes, went to everybody's motherfucking IG, social medias, just was, how I was feeling about the situation. That's what I put together. So I ain't pick switching nothing or posting no pick switch videos or doing none of that nut shit. We just doing this, and if you tapped in, you tapped in. And if you got this for, you got this for, man. And I appreciate you for it. It's just me thinking out loudly. You know what I'm talking about? And letting y'all know what I'm doing with my degenerate self, prior to these fights kicking off here shortly. So it is what it is, man. Something light. Nothing major. And if you want to call yourself staying safe, you know what I'm talking about? Staying away from underdogs, staying away from crazy favorites and crazy money lines, sketchy main events, co-main events, first fight of the nights type situations. You want to call yourself being safe, I guess, we could lock up Marion. You know what I'm talking about? Honestly, I'd say lock up Armin, Joshua, Mauricio. Yeah, stay away from them motherfucking women. Ignacio. Stay away from that co-main event and that main event if you want, you know what I'm talking about, and just put you in a nice little 4-legger. Stay away from that first fight of the night. You know what I'm talking about? Let these 2 prospects bang it out. Fuck with the second fight of the night. You know what I mean? 2 more prospects, but, Marion Santos should be able to get this one done. Unless Francis Marshall just comes the fuck out here and absolutely blows everybody's mind. Armin Petrosian, Joshua Van, Mauricio Ruffy, Ignacio, 5 legs. 5 legs at plus 704, man. You know what I mean? If you don't want to fuck with no underdogs, you don't want to fuck with anybody over the minus 500 money line and risk a heavy favorite fumble in the bag. You want to stay away from the co-main and the main and just enjoy that shit. You want to leave the ladies fight alone. You want to leave the heavyweight fight alone. You know what I'm talking about? And just kind of fall back and see where these dice lay. 5 legs, man, at plus 704. Marion Santos, Armin Petrosian, Joshua Van, Mauricio Ruffy, and Ignacio Bahamondos, man. And that's going to be that with that. I'm finna tap out. I ain't going to hold y'all ear hostage longer than a dub. I'm going to go ahead and roll this motherfucker up before this blunt get crunchy on me. Yeah, I'm talking about. And place a few more degenerate bets, man. You know what I mean? Best of luck with any and all bets and parlays. Enjoy the fights. You know what I'm talking about? Best of luck with any and all bets and parlays for anybody who's involved in the spring training, MLB, much like me. I'm a degenerate. 1 o'clock games, 3 o'clock games, and so on. NBA plays, same game parlays, all that nut shit. Salute to you and best of luck with any and all bets and parlays, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace and blessings.